They met years ago, and neither of them ever forgot. Joe remembers the boots. Georgia remembers the kindness. It was just one day, but that moment never left either of them. And now, years later, they find themselves in the same town, in each other's lives again. Was it fate? Was it unfinished business? Or was it the start of something deeper? Something neither of them could admit out loud. Let's rewind to understand what might have happened between Georgia and Joe in Season 3. We have to go back to the beginning where their story quietly began, long before anyone in Wellsbury knew either of them. Georgia Miller is not like most Mo's. She's bold, unpredictable, charming, and full of secrets. She's spent her whole life running from her past and protecting her kids, no matter the cost. Her smile hides pain. Her charm hides trauma. She knows how to survive, and she's always been ready to leave at any moment until she came to Wellsbury. Joe, on the other hand, is quiet como Buzabanto. He owns the Blue Farm Cafe and keeps to himself. He doesn't like drama, and he's not trying to be the town gossip, but he's kind and honest. And when Georgia walks into his cafe, something changes. But this isn't just a random meeting. Years ago before Wellsbury, before Georgia had a plan, before any of this, she met Joe at a rest stop. She was lost, broke, and alone. Joel was young too, but he had a horse and a heart. He shared his sandwich with her. He gave her advice. He even told her about Wellsbury Place she had never heard of before. That conversation lasted only a few minutes, but Georgia remembered it. The kindness, the way he looked at her like she wasn't broken, that mattered. And here's the twist. Joe didn't realize it was her. Not at first. In Season 1. Georgia walks into Joe's cafe as a new resident. She's loud, confident, and trying to fit into this perfect little town. Joe notices something familiar, but he doesn't connect the dots until later. It takes him time to realize this is her. The girl from the rest stop. The one with the boots. When Joe finally figures it out, it shakes him. Not just because of the coincidence, but because those few minutes years ago had stayed with him too. He remembered her. Her laugh. Her boots. Her sadness. From that point on, there's a quiet connection between them. They don't talk about it much. They don't need to. It's in the looks. The way Georgia pauses when Joe's around, the way Joe watches her, not with judgment, but with understanding. Georgia never tells Paul about Joe, and Joe never pushes himself into Georgia's life, but they keep circling each other, like two people who almost had something but didn't, or couldn't. In Season 2, that tension grows stronger. Joe starts asking more questions. He starts noticing Georgia's behavior, her lies, her disappearances, her pain, but he never calls her out. He just watches, quietly, carefully. Like someone who cares, but doesn't want to get hurt. Georgia, meanwhile, keeps Joe at arm's length. She knows he sees too much. She knows he could unravel everything. But deep down, part of her seems to trust him, even rely on him. Their relationship isn't loud. It's not dramatic like her other stories. But that's what makes it powerful. It's subtle, real, honest. And maybe that's why it's dangerous. Because in a life full of lies, secrets, and fake smiles, Joe might be the only person who sees the real Georgia, and that scares her more than anything. Now, in Season 3, that slow burn starts to boil. But before we get to what might have happened, the glances, the rumors, the affair, we needed to look back. To that first moment. To the sandwich. The kindness. The boots. Because everything that's happening now started with that